Thanks very much.
Hi, everyone. I suppose, to be the first person to speak after lunch is probably one of the most nightmarish situations, so please don't fall asleep, all right? My name is Mufudro, and I am one of the interim divisional managers in Liverpool City Council. I'm responsible for the network management side of things, and that includes the traffic signals, the street works, and the permitting team, as well as the urban control traffic signal control team. So you can see there's a kind of slightly wide remit under the network management team. I've been asked to come here today to talk to you about some of the challenges we face in Liverpool. As we all know, Liverpool is a great city, a wonderful city to live in, steeped in history. All you have to do is just go around the city center and everywhere, and you see the features that have been left behind by generations past. It's also, according to Guinness Book of Records, the music capital city of the world. The Fab Four, as we all know, everybody knows who they are, and there's been a lot of artists that's passed by and currently living and working in Liverpool City Centre. I need not say about our 2 Premier Leagues doing wonderfully well. Well, at least one of them. We're praying for the other one. And then in 2018, as we all know, Liverpool was nominated as the European City of Culture. But underneath all of that has been some challenges. In 2020, the government appointed Max Kalla, CBE, to review the best value improvement of Liverpool. As a result of that, a number of failures were identified. One around governance and practices, decision-making process. There are gaps in that, and even in some of the actions that were taken. There are lack of resources at the top to be able to make those kind of key decisions. Crucially, around compliance and statutory requirements, also there are some failings to be able to comply with those. There's clear lack of understanding, shall I say, of declaration of interest and hospitalities amongst the elected members in terms of where their roles and responsibilities are. But crucially, there were significant failings found within highways and transportation in terms of how decisions are made, the policies surrounding some of the things that we do, not putting processes in place. So as a result of that, the central government then appointed 4 commissioners, one of them overseeing the highways and transportation side. His name is Neil Gibson, previously from Buckinghamshire. As a result of the commissioners coming in and Neil Gibson trying to get us to where we want to be, then it tasked us in terms of what we need to do. So part of our development plan and improvement journey, including identifying 3 phases: the stability phase, the steady phase, and also the sector leading phase. Within the stability phase, that is basically just to get us to the basic level that we need to be as a local authority, in terms of getting solid policies in place, making sure that our financial position is where we want it to be, putting in procedures and making sure that we have adequate resources to be able to deliver one of the things that we have to deliver. Because one of the things that I identified when I came to Liverpool about 7 months ago, as you can tell, I'm not a Scouser, even though I'm a Liverpool fan, is the fact that the resources within the team is very, very few. We need to build on that. Not only build on that, but also to make sure that we develop them, we train them, we get them to where we want them to be able to deliver some of this. That stability phase is between June last year until December this year. After that, hopefully, we'll be in a place where we are stable. We can then move to the next phase, which is the steady phase. This is where Liverpool, in terms of the reputation that we have currently, start changing. People, some of the processes and the policies and the ideas that we have during the stability is now embedded within us. It becomes a natural thing. In terms of changes, and it becomes a natural choice for partnering, for organizations to come and work, to come and do things, and also for us to for them to invest in Liverpool. During the sector leading phase, the idea being that we become an exemplary authority. We're looking at 2024, between 2024, May 2024 and June 2026. In other words, we become a benchmarking authority where other local authorities, either around the country, will say, actually, we know where Liverpool was, we know their journey, but now maybe they now become the standard for everyone to want to obtain. However, we understand that to get to where we want to get to, even within the stability phase, we cannot do it just by manpower. We need technology. At the moment, our data is lacking, not only in terms of the highway side of it, and also in terms, I think Steve mentioned earlier, and probably stole some of my thunder, in terms of some of those areas that you can use data for, around traffic order, the digitalization of your TRO process. We currently don't have that. We still rely on paper, which some authorities are now leaving behind. It means that our record keeping is not as accurate as it should be. If someone comes and asks for an order that we made probably 3 years ago, which I have done, I'm told that it's in archive and it will take a couple of weeks before that can be retrieved. That's totally unacceptable. You got to get to a stage whereby that information is readily available, you can use it, you can then, if you want to change it, you can change it almost immediately. And also, in terms of the technology, it's not just what you do in the back office, but also how you can use it to improve people's experience on the network. Making sure that all the various bits, your signage, your street works, and some of your technologies around traffic signals are able to talk to each other. And you're able to use that to maximize the opportunity that you can give to the traveling public to move across the network. At the moment, we are looking at introducing 280 LEDs retrofits at 280 sites. At 280 sites, we're introducing LED retrofits. Combined Authority have helped us with that, and we hope, we're expecting that through that in itself, that will save us about 80% in energy savings. Involved in that is also changing some of the controllers that manages those traffic signals, that controls those traffic signals, so that we can make the best use of the LED technology. Also, we are also working with the Combined Authority in terms of getting from the air quality side of things. Liverpool City Council has a target of net zero carbon by 2030. Some of that requires a lot of investment in some of the technology. Not only are we to monitor the network, to monitor the city, to identify where there are issues so that we can tackle those issues. We're also looking at using, at the moment, Combined Authority are giving us funding to introduce monitors at 10 sites. And using that information, linking it to our signals, we're able to control and manage how, and put in strategies of how people actually travel across the network. So where the exceedance is very high, then we can then move them using technology to move them to other parts of the network. So looking forward, we know we've got a lot to do before we get to where we want to get to. But the initial thing that we want to start doing is how information is important, information is powerful, but how do we make the best use of that? How do we get the general public to understand how our network is operating? If we have work going on, if we have disruption on any particular part of the network, how do we do that? At the moment, in terms of the VMS, variable message signings that we have across the network, they are few and far in between, and some of them are dated. They're not fit for purpose. The whole idea is to review what we currently have, make sure they are fit for purpose. We can actually use them to direct drivers across the network to inform them. And also, one of the areas that we're struggling with is that in Liverpool, we have a lot of car parks. It's probably something that a lot of people don't do across the country, because if you're looking at reducing the amount of people that come into the city center, you don't want to encourage them to drive in. But if there's no alternative, then people will drive in. So what we want to do is to use this opportunity to be able to tell people areas across the network where car parks are available or where they're full, so that we don't have people just driving around the city center looking for a place to park. So we are reviewing all of those to upgrade them, to make sure that they're fit for purpose, and to bring about visibility across the network. So it will enable us to actually manage how people use the network. We can inform them much earlier along the M62, for example, that there are issues across the city center, maybe you should use other parts of the network. But that is not all. We know that we want to be innovative in terms of our approach in Liverpool City. We cannot do it all by ourselves, so we need partners. There's a great opportunity here now, because I'm sure that so far we've been successful in some of the bids that we've been putting in, because I think there's a realization of where we are going, the journey that we're going, and where we are and where we want to get to. So even central government are trying to help us, around active travel, even on some of our bids that we put in. So here is where we can use not just human resources, but we can bring innovation into the mix in terms of where we want to get to. Ideally, we want to get to a situation whereby we're able to use information that we have, the data that we've collected, to have a connected, I think we've been speaking to Darren about this, connected vehicle, because through that we can then start sending messages out to vehicles and all those sort of things. We want to pilot that. There's a great opportunity in the city to do that. So we're looking for partners, we're looking for people to invest. If you have an innovative idea that can help us to move people around the city center, please, you're welcome. So, thank you very much. I have other colleagues in the room, so if there's a question I can't answer, I'll tell you who they are. Thank you.